You don't know the power of the dark side. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge. Chillin With Villains Podcast.
Only
good,
two of us
everyone.
today.
Yep, as you can see, the Brady Bunch is not all here today
Unfortunately, it's all right.
for reasons out of our control.
Paint.
Yeah, just paint and COD, I guess.
I don't know what Magneto's doing. Let me actually look.
Well, while he looks that up, what's good, everyone? It's the Brown Steve Jobs, Mr. Steve Austin, aka Dr. Manhattan the Bronx, aka October's very own. Look upon my works. I am Ozymandias, your host here, joined by all the way from
Oh yeah.
Paramus, New Jersey.
Woo!
President of the Boston Celtics, senior DC correspondent, and king of the Gulag. You do not want to 1v1 him. All right,
Lately, I've been ass. I can't front. I've been ass in the gulag lately.
Chill,
But,
tell him that. But you guys are chilling with villains, and
Yes.
it's just me and Zoom today, and we're here to bring you a new edition of our "Was It Really That Bad" version of our podcast, which we
Segment.
or
And that's the word
segment.
you're looking for.
And here, like, since we did Thor 1, we're doing Thor the Dark World, which was also
Yep.
heavily mixed in reviews. And yeah, I saw it earlier. It was like my 5th time watching it. Zoom here has seen
I saw it for the first time today. I know, crazy. So I don't know. It was just like I was never a Thor fan like that, you know, like, and I started with Iron Man and honestly, I didn't even watch Winter Soldier till I was in college. Like, I didn't like. I know.
You're talking
it's
about like a few
crazy.
years ago.
Yeah, like a few years ago. Like, seriously, like. Actually, no. Remember that time when you gave me that code to download it?
Yeah,
That time.
for the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I never saw it in theaters. I caught on to like I didn't catch on. Like I knew Marvel was a thing, and I watched all the Avengers in theaters. I watched Winter Soldier. I didn't watch in theaters. I just never got around to watching it. I don't know how or why. I just never watched it because nobody wanted to go to the fucking movies and I had no friends that were into this shit. So like I'm not gonna go with my fucking parents. Like no, I'm good. Like so
Especially
eventually.
watching this.
Yeah, and I didn't have a job until like God knows how long, so I was fucking broke boy. So I didn't even want to spend the money on to buy it, and then he gave me a free code, and I was like, "Oh, this is lit." Anyway,
Oh,
I digress.
Just out here to help, bro. That's
Yeah, I
all.
know. I digress. So, the what do you call it? So Thor 2. I just never. If I didn't watch Winter Soldier till I was in college, you damn for sure no, I did not watch Thor: The Dark World
Of
prior to
course,
this.
yeah, you for
So-
sure.
So I was just like, I heard mixed reviews about it, like, and I was just like, I'm good. Like, it's fine. Like, so I obviously already know what happens. It happened in the movie, but it was just like, I think if I had watched it when it had come out, because this is right after Avengers 1, right?
This takes
So-
place right after. This was the first
Yeah.
film after Avengers 1, yeah.
Right. So I think I would have actually liked it more
If you would have seen it.
if I would have seen it then. I feel like because my thing is like now watching it now, obviously I know everything that's gonna happen. I know like the beginning was so boring for me. Like I was just like okay, and then as soon as as soon as they brought him out of prison, I was like bet.
Like
That's
the
when
movie started there for you.
That's literally where the movie started for me because it was just so boring. I was just like okay, cool, This guy thought that what's her name was a waitress in the restaurant and like a full
Darcy
sweater.
wasn't a waitress. Like, she just.
I know she thought like
Yeah.
that guy thought, and when I'm like, what kind of waitress dresses like that in that kind of a restaurant? She has like winter clothes on. Oh yeah, I'll take some champagne. Like what? Anyway, sorry, that was just something that bugged me. and it was like little shit like that, and also like how everybody just did that scientist so dirty, Eric.
Oh, Eric Selvig.
Eric Selvig, yeah.
Yeah.
They did him so dirt. Like after the whole Avengers thing in Shield, they're like,
Well,
"All right, see you later, man. We'll leave you out there."
No.
See ya.
I have explanation as to why they did that with his character.
Please.
When you're over with your review, because I don't
Okay.
want all the. Remember, I'm the production stuff behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I don't want to sway your judgment.
Right. True. So that was just like weird to me, like how. But I guess if you have an explanation, we'll see if I like it. And so yeah, like Loki was the MVP of this movie. He made it watchable. Like
I agree with you 100%.
him and Thor's chemistry always awesome.
Off the charts on this one.
So that was nice to see that. It kind of like made me like, oh yeah, like I kind of am a little bit excited for Loki, the Loki show now. Like I'm like,
well, that's the point I wanted to bring up as well. Yeah.
Up until this movie, this movie did make me realize one thing, that I didn't know if I liked Loki because of Thor, or if I liked Thor because of Loki, or if it kind of existed prematurely and I liked them both.
Wow, that's a great observation.
And I like them both. So like I like was watching Thor and I was like, you could see the character growth from the first movie. I love that they built it up. They built on that. Like as soon as they bust Loki out of jail, he said, "Oh, are you sure you don't want to just go in there fighting, like fists flying, all this stuff?" He's like, and even though that's kind of what they did, but they had kind of like a plan, and like they were like, and everybody knew that this was probably the right thing to do. They didn't want to just wait there until whatever. So you could definitely see the character growth where he's not so battle hungry all the time. Like, okay, like he wants to look for the smart thing to do and try to protect people and shit.
But he's still flawed. That's what's great about it. These are still.
Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't that great of a plan to begin with, still, because it would have been a great plan if he got his dad to agree with him.
Exactly.
Because then he would have had a lot more backup.
Yeah.
Instead of that, but I mean, regardless, it was still better than his dad's plan. So I mean, like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So, and obviously we understand why the dad wasn't really thinking that clearly because of his wife and all this shit.
Yeah.
But so like I loved seeing that character growth where he was like actually putting together plans and shit. He even outwitted Loki. Like Loki, when he threw Loki out the ship.
Yep.
And he's like, "You lied to me. Yeah, I'm impressed." Like, okay.
And
like
that banter is always great. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That whole banter with the whole ship scene. It's like, "Oh, you just decapitated our grandfather. Good job." Like, funny. I love it. Oh, also, did you get Infinity War vibes from the? I'm jumping back to the beginning now, but the opening scene. You know, when they're battling the Dark Elves in the flashback, and they get the Bifrost to like beam them down.
Yeah.
I got mad at Infinity War vibes.
It was a very cool. Almost you can kind of see like where the screenwriters almost pulled their inspiration from, because they
had to have gotten it from that.
Yeah, they
like
Infinity War, so
they just beams down. Dude, I was waiting for Stormbreaker to come out that shit. But no, but it was good. CGI was fine. It was good. Actually, I loved as we talked about before. Asgard, amazing.
Come on,
like I wish that didn't get blown up, and we could see like a new generation of like the gods. You know, like
hopefully we see some sort of redemption.
Yeah, maybe we'll see it in like new Asgard in that like little section. Hopefully, I don't know. Doubtful though, of Norway. Yeah. And let's see. Didn't really care about like one problem I had was like the last fight, like
super weak.
Yeah, so weak. I don't like. I don't even understand how they killed him. Really, like I get it. It's like they're using the dimensions, like the alignment, basically, to kill him because of all the natural disaster, or not disasters, but natural like occurrences to physics and all that other shit based on all those worlds converging. But like it's like it was just lame. I was just like, what? I never bought that guy was that strong. I was like, why can't Thor just whoop this motherfucker's ass. Like
Exactly.
even before he got
the ether.
the ether, yeah. Like when he zapped his head, I was like,
I was like, yo, he fried him like on one side.
how are you? Like I was like, okay. Uh, First of all, why did he just stop? He like gave him a little zap, and then he just like, okay, let me run in. Like, no, I would have just held that zap. I would have just been like, oh, I'm gonna fry your fucking whole head right now, dude.
I actually have a theory that sort of has that situation retconned, and you could kind of see that entire how this entire film plays out in a new light when I divulge later on. Yeah.
And also, I've always thought like, why can't I wonder? I always wondered if Thor could use his powers to like kind of cauterize wounds, like
how he shocked Iron Man back to life in Endgame.
Yeah, like he why can't he
Not
use
to
that?
life,
Like
but-
lightning is hot. That can definitely cauterize a wound. I feel like if you just give it a little boop, like on a wound.
I don't know, but
I don't know. I'm not a
I don't
fucking
know how-
doctor.
I
I
don't
was
know
just
how-
wondering.
yeah,
I was
I
just
don't know how
wondering.
practical that would be to just be like, yo, like hold on, let me just tap my hammer into your chest.
I know,
so I
yeah.
can save you.
Yeah. No, I get it. I was just a thought because I was like watching. I was like, I wonder if he could like perform any like medical treatment with the thing. But
I
don't
mean,
know.
he basically.
And I know
did.
he can do a defibrillator. I get that. That
He
makes
did
sense.
Defibrillation, yeah. It's crazy that we've seen Thor defibrillate.
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, so yeah, the last fight was super weak to me. I did like the fact that they were jumping in between
Like realms.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I like that. But again, like it was like it wasn't even. It's not the fact that it was just short. It was just how they beat him. I was just like,
This
it wasn't
was
satisfying. I was
this
just like,
was a this is another version of a terrible way that it can go when you say, I don't care how you do it, just get it done.
yeah, exactly, yeah, by any means necessary. Like, no, like
This is not what I meant by
yeah,
and get it done for however way you wanted to do it.
exactly. It's like okay, whatever. I guess they did it. Whatever. Yay.
Super weak.
You know, and I also love the fact, obviously, you know, that Loki sitting on the throne at the end. That was cool to see. I like that because obviously we know where that goes in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you know, it was. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 6.
Okay.
We give it a 6.
6
like,
out of 10.
Yeah, I felt like it was just late. Got like kind of all over the place at the end, and I just feel like they could have done a little bit better with that. And I didn't like really a lot of the jokes they were using. I was just like, okay.
Wait till I tell you how that came to be.
Oh boy.
But
sorry.
up?
Just one more thing.
What's up?
And
another thing.
Yeah, and another thing. The arc for Thor, I did like his personal arcs in 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was great. I think you see the growth really, like, and this is like, this last one was kind of just like, okay, like now I see, it was kind of like the next level of understanding of what he learned in the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, and how like and he was like, okay, like I know I can, I thought I needed to be the king in the first one, so I needed to be more mature and think better. And then now he's like, I don't even want to be the king. Fuck that.
Exactly.
Like I just want to be me. I don't want to be. I want to help people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that I want to be lazy or anything like that. I want to protect all the realms, but I don't want to do it from a chair. I want to do it myself because I feel like but like he basically said, I'm the biggest and the baddest motherfucker.
Exactly.
So nobody's gonna be able to fuck with me.
He knows he's OP, and he
knows he's OP.
Sit down. Yeah.
It makes sense. Like I love that. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that like, and it just feels like they just kind of like said, whatever with it. It's fine. Like from like Ragnarok, you see like the little bit of like he doesn't obviously he's not the same Thor in Ragnarok than he is. Like he's a lot more lighthearted and whatever, and which is fine. Like that's how I would expect a guy who's like, you know what, I don't want to be king, so it's fine. Makes sense. And then going on to like Infinity War, I loved his arc in Infinity War. I loved it. Great. And then in Endgame, it just became they just kind of shat on the entire thing, except for the part where him not wanting to be king. I mean, but he's like, oh yeah, I just realized now I don't want to be king. It's like you realized that years ago, my guy, and like I know the fact that it's like yeah, your dad was currently sitting on the throne, but
Yeah.
he wasn't in a tip top shape at that time either. Like he was gonna die
Oh,
soon.
but he hasn't been in tip-top shape since the first movie.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he hasn't been in tip top shape, so you had to have known someone's gonna take over the throne. You know what I mean? Like it's like even if he dies, it's like it's not on you to lead. Like that would defeat the you know what I'm saying? It would defeat the purpose of what you
But-
just said in
But
Thor 2.
It's what I feel like it's a majority of that sort of gets resolved with what happened in Ragnarok in a sense because of he realizes that he has to save Asgard by destroying it through Surtur and all that.
Right. Because Asgard is not a place; it's a people.
Exactly. So we get told that, and then they're like, "Listen, like you saved us. You're our leader. Like you're leading us out of here."
Yeah, and at the end of Ragnarok, you see him, and he's like the king of Asgard.
Yeah, he accepts it, but even still, he's just like, "So where to?" Like he's still not sure of it.
Right.
That's why when he comes to that realization in Endgame, he's just like, "Yeah, like I'm not doing it."
I think it would have been cool if he was just like, honestly, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy for this shit.
You
like,
think he should have done that in Ragnarok?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
You
okay.
should have done that at the end. Like, yo, like that would have been a great moment where he's like, where he stayed true to what he learned about himself in Thor 2.
Yeah, but I feel like that fake victory, and I call it a fake victory because that's literally what it was. Because they have that culmination of unity there, and then Thanos shows up. Yeah, Thanos shows up.
It's kind of it's like in Warzone when you kill a team and you're like, yes, all right, you turn around and there's another team right behind you and you get fucking clapped. That's literally the best analogy for that.
Timing,
for that
the best
moment.
timing.
Yeah, exactly.
Video game podcast coming soon. But yeah,
12 years later.
But yeah, so was it really that bad, Zoom?
It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be worse, but like I said, Loki saved the entire film. Like, if Loki was not in this movie, I would definitely not like it. Like, I would appreciate Thor and his growth, but other than that, I probably would not like it.
All right.
Like, so, yeah, that was it. And then I felt like they underused Odin in this movie too a little bit compared to the first one.
It almost seems like every time they need him, he's like sick. He's just like
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Right him out.
Right after Thor, I am like it's like, and then it's like, oh, there's an enemy over there. Oh, my heart. It's like, oh, okay. Like
Odin would be the worst Warzone team ever.
He's like it reminds me because I'm watching like an anime right now where Bleach. I'm actually watching. There's this one character who's like I feel like everybody just kind of looks at him and is like, okay, that guy's OP.
Yeah.
But every time some shit pops off, he's just like chilling the cut, like doesn't want to fight, and then like, or he's like out of town, like randomly he chooses to leave for the first time in the entire series of 7 seasons that I've watched. He's like, I'm out. Like
he's like Etrigan.
Yeah, literally. It's fucking annoying. I was just like, okay, see ya. So, but yeah, it's kind of like that. And so yeah, not as bad as I thought because I thought it was gonna be a lot worse because Clown Prince told me he couldn't even stay awake when he was watching.
Yeah, when he said that, I'm like, damn, it's not that bad.
I was worried. I was like, oh man, I'm about to hate this movie if that's true. But yeah, like like I said, yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
All right. Well, in my case, I've been almost I'm Ariel Feige.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, you all know that. But
adopted son.
But the thing is that every time I watch this, I almost watch this leading up or after an Avengers film or some sort of team up movie.
Right.
Or like, so for example, for the first Avengers, I obviously rewatched Thor. For the second Avengers, I rewatched everything in Phase 2 leading up to Age of Ultron, and then so on and so forth with Ragnarok and all that. And every time I watched it, I'm like, oh, I get why this now happens in Age of Ultron, or why this is a thing in Infinity War, Endgame, or Ragnarok. I'm like, a lot of what happens in this film is almost cleaned up with Endgame. And I have a theory that hold on. Like, I have a theory as to why certain events unfold as to like how they unfolded in Endgame, and how they went with the story there, because it's the same writing team. So let me shout out the cast first. Alan Taylor, who directed Game of Thrones, some Game of Thrones episodes at the time. Originally, Patty Jenkins was rumored to direct this one, to direct Thor: The Dark World.
Really? That
Yep.
would have been interesting.
That would have been really interesting, but for whatever reason, it didn't come to fruition. I don't know why.
Sexism.
I don't know. I think that was Natalie Portman's reason why, but that's also why she has a pretty shaky relationship with Marvel.
Oh wait. Oh, Natalie Portman wanted Patty on it.
Yeah. She wanted Patty. You know Natalie, how she is and all that.
How she is.
I'm saying. Oh wow, that sounds terrible.
Wow.
But I mean,
Natalie
fights for
I'm kidding. You're just
fights for,
sexist.
and I'm canceled. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, you're just canceled. It's fine.
But she was trying to ride for her girl, and obviously it didn't work out. I don't know why, but it didn't. That would have been interesting to see, though. But
I think that would have been great.
But Alan Taylor he didn't do a bad job with what they gave him. But the problem that I had with it was that it was almost like I was watching a Game of Thrones episode and then just some TV drama because of Earth, which is the issue I have with all of these movies.
Oh my god! I had one more thing.
What was it? One more.
So now you're saying the drama thing. It reminded me of and maybe you're about to say this, so I'm sorry, but
no,
just
it's fine.
the romance. The romantic triangle they were hinting at. I was just like, you didn't even pay it off. Like, it was just like they didn't say anything to each other. I was like, why even go down that road?
Yeah.
They're not in Ragnarok. They're not in any of the movies going forward. Why would you even bother? Like, it's just unresolved now.
Yeah, it's a lot of unresolved stuff. It's
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, and on top of that, it's on Earth. So it's like I don't care. Like how you open up with. Shout out to my Greek mythology enthusiasts and anybody who's played God of War, the recent one.
Yep, fire.
We start out in Svartalheim, which is the land of the Dark Elves.
Mm-hmm.
So already off rip, I'm like, this is interesting already. We get to find out about Thor's parents and all that. It has this Game of Thrones fantasy vibe that is great. The look of it is amazing. This is when Marvel really started changing up their looks of their films a little bit, because
absolutely, I can totally. It feels totally different than what I would expect a Marvel movie to be now.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
The look of it.
Like, it was refreshing in that sense.
Aesthetically,
it wasn't the greatest.
It felt like I was like, oh, this feels like a Game of Thrones episode. Like, it looks really cool. Like, I love the shots and all that. But then when you go to Earth, it's just like,
yeah, like he hangs the hammer up on the.
That was improvised, by the way.
That was cool. That was funny. That was like one of the funny parts. I like that. Like
fish out of water stuff.
Fish out of water shit. Like I said, I love it. Like I'm a sucker for that shit.
And when he gets in the car with her, he's just like,
he
gets in the car. And he's just like,
who's Steve or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, his name is Steve.
And she's like, really? Like that's just not exclusive to just Earth. It's also an Asgard. Fucking guys being. I mean.
So let me start off with some notes here.
Yeah.
Shout out to the cast though.
Acting wise, everybody
Natalie,
did.
Tom Hiddleston, Anthony Hopkins, Jamie Alexander as Sif, freaking Shazam as Fandral. Fandral has been recast like 3 times in Thorverse, but whatever. Ray Stevenson as Volstagg returns. Tadanobu Asano as Hogan. Idris Elba as Heimdall, who has some really dope off the bench moments here.
Absolutely.
Very strong 6-man. And Rene Russo as Frigga, who gets some shine.
Yeah. She had some moves. She was about to kill that guy if that's what made me. I was like, okay, if Frigga can kill this motherfucker. She
should have just sliced his neck right there.
I was like, yo. Dude, Thor. First of all, that guy looked like the Predator.
His name is Curse.
Curse, yeah. Curse looked like the fucking Predator. I was like, Jesus Christ. Sorry, go ahead.
He looked like wow. No, I can't unsee it now. That's it.
Dude, it was crazy. All I
Because of
saw,
the way the
I was
mouthpiece was?
expecting like the noise, like like the little red dot he has, like just to start appearing on people's heads.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I can't unsee it now. Damn it. Curses the predator now. But yeah,
Yep.
and unfortunately, we have the like Kat Dennings is funny, but like
Unneeded. She did nothing the entire film.
I don't know.
All she did was plant those spikes that they ended up using to.
I have no idea why this was a thing, but
It was like,
and Stellan
and
Skarsgård.
they
again,
knew
as I was
nothing.
saying.
Him and that intern, her and that intern knew nothing about what the hell they were doing. It's like there's like, okay, I'll just go do this. She's like, I just didn't like how they kept emphasizing. Oh yeah, she has no clue what she's doing. Like every single time, it's like, hey, do you know what these things can do? Because I don't.
I don't know.
It's like it would have been cool if she was like throughout the 2 years, she was like, oh, you know what? I've actually been really trying to study up on this shit.
And you see some growth to her character.
Yeah, like there was no growth. It was the same thing. Like, what has she been doing the past 2 years?
Nothing at all. Just hanging out with Natalie Portman.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a great job, but still.
I'll take it. Hang out with Natalie and talk about space. I'm with it.
Yeah, fuck it.
But
space all day.
The film had a pretty crazy production. It was written by Christopher Yost, Christopher Marcus, Stephen McFeely, which wrote. These guys wrote, mind you, this movie had a very, very weak script.
What did they write before?
These dudes, in conjunction, wrote. Let me see if I have. Where do I have it written? Okay, they wrote Civil War, Winter Soldier, and Infinity War and Endgame.
And they gave us this.
It has its strong points. Like the interactions between Thor and Loki, it really has me thinking like, man, there's this struggle for brotherhood that they want to.
Yeah, they want to trust each. Yeah, Thor wants to trust him. Loki doesn't really want to kill him.
And the tragedy pays off in Infinity War and Endgame because Thor is just like, yo, my brother's dead. Like literally, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like I'm here. I've been trying to reconcile with him and make something work, and now he's dead. And then in Endgame, that glimmer of even in that timeline of them two reconciling is gone because he dips.
Yeah, so I hope. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
you hope in Thor 4 that this comes up again or something.
No, that Loki in the Loki show, they have Chris Hemsworth kind of cameo in an episode.
They need to
like the finale. They need to. They need to just be all right. Like I have no more energy for this shit.
Yeah, exactly. They need to reconcile. But yeah, so those guys wrote this, and Joss Whedon.
Oh man, Josh. I'm really trying not to judge him off Justice League. I'm trying not to judge him off his other movies. The Avengers is the only movie he's made. Who did Ultron? Who directed Ultron?
He did.
Okay. The Avengers.
He wrote and directed on both.
Those two, okay. Thumbs up. But my God, the writing on this one was.
Joss Whedon came in to.
He definitely wrote that last battle. I don't want to hear it.
He actually wrote the battle in Vanaheim, where Thor comes in, where he comes in like through the Bifrost and all that.
In Vanaheim?
Yeah, that's where they are in Vanaheim.
But
where he claps the Korg.
Oh, okay,
the Cronin.
Okay, that wasn't bad. I like that. Yeah, the Korg. Yeah, I wrote down. I started taking notes actually yesterday because I started it yesterday for like 5 minutes, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're not actually doing it tonight." So I was like, "Okay, bet I'm not watching this shit." Delay it more. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so wow, I'm all over the place. But yeah, these guys wrote this, and Joss Whedon came in to help some scenes and stuff. And I'm like, all right, clearly Joss did some shit on Earth. Like he had to write all this.
Oh, absolutely. The Earth scenes, all him. Had to have been.
I just didn't care at all. Anything for like literally anytime I would go to Earth, I'll go on my phone. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, bye. Yeah.
Because I have my headphones on, so I'm like, I'm still watching.
All of it's useless. All the useless characters stayed on Earth, like except for Doctor Selvig. He's the only one who was kind of somewhat of use.
Yeah, and then
that was still on Earth.
And then Jane Foster going to Asgard, which was really dope. That was
I love that. Dope.
There were actually more scenes of her on Asgard. They got cut.
That like fish out of water scenes, like where she's like looking. She's like, "What does this do?" Yeah.
I remember there's a scene where she which actually happens around the time in Endgame where Rocket and Thor go to get the ether from her.
Right.
Is a scene that was cut in that moment that they actually pulled that footage for Endgame, where she gets up out of bed and she wakes up and stuff. That's literally from the deleted scene, and they just use CGI to put Rocket in there. So she actually has a scene where she's like getting dressed and she's like, and they're bringing her clothes. Like all the maidens are like, here you go, and all this stuff. She's like, do you have pants? Like, so it was cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah,
just leave that in. But there's also some more deleted scenes that got cut. More dialogue between her and Frigga. Something between Frigga and Loki, where it shows Loki as like where Loki imagines himself being crowned king with Mjolnir in his hand and all that. I get why it was cut. It didn't really matter. Like, it's a story, but yeah. Production wise, the Dark World is Svartalheim. Imagine marketing. Hey, go watch Thor Svartalheim in theaters. This like, it's kind of hard to read. It's hard to pronounce. It's hard to get a grip on to get people excited.
Yeah, so the Dark World.
So they're just like, let's just call it the Dark World. So
makes sense.
I get it. I like Svartalheim more because I'm a nerd. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's like, again, like you said, there's no way. Like kids are gonna be, hey, mommy, let's go see Thor Svartalheim. Fartalheim. It's like, no, Fartalheim. No, it's not Fartalheim, son.
Yeah. So
I'll admit it. I'm nervous. Okay?
I'm
nervous. All right.
I just pressed the wrong thing on soundboard. I didn't mean to put that. I'm not nervous, like Stephen A. said.
I'm nervous. All right. I'm nervous.
But yes, this pulls a lot from Norse mythology about the dark elves and all that. Which again, if you watch, if you played God of War, you know that these guys are a bunch of assholes, like dark ones at least. And there's light elves, and there's all kind of elves and all that. So they use the dark elves and Malekith, which is in the comics, and he's pretty much how he is in the film. I was gonna say the show because it did feel like a TV episode, but in the comics, he's like that. He's this dark elf that wants everything to be dark, I guess.
Yeah, he wants to like end life.
He is one of the most pussy villains in all of the MCU. I'm saying that out there. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it. Him and Ronan.
No debate on this end. I did not like his villain. I did not like him.
Super buns.
He had no lines where I'm like, no moments where I'm like, yo, he's a badass. Like
or even some kind of like
no moments like that,
or some kind of justification for what you want to do. Like, oh, I just want the entire universe to be, dark.
Yeah.
Oh, let me drop a bomb for that,
yeah,
bro.
Wow.
Great idea.
Wow.
Man. But yeah. I feel that overall, in terms of the looks and stuff, it did have this that's what Thor is. It's basically Game of Thrones and Star Wars comes together.
Yeah.
It has that. And it also supports why Ragnarok is fine how it is. That Star Wars vibe.
Space, all that shit. That's why it's the best one, because they barely spent any fucking time on Earth. Like, it was like, boom. Exactly. He went there to try to find his daughter, his father. And those 5 minutes were dope. You had Doctor Strange. You had Loki. You had...
New Asgard.
New Asgard.
And Hela came in. And that was all reshot, because it was supposed to be in...
What, New Asgard?
Alley. No. The scene where they basically reconcile with Odin and he dies and all that. He drifts off into to nothing. That's when Hela's supposed to come in this back alley in New York where they find Odin. That entire thing was reshot. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, reshot to look to that place. But what do you mean by New Asgard? Are you? Oh, was that
Yes.
That's where they built New Asgard.
Yes.
I had
Where
no
Odin
clue.
died. Yeah, that's why he's like when he sits down, Odin's looking out, he's like, look at this is beautiful. Like this is home. Like this feels like home.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
That's cool.
why in Ragnarok it really pays off. And
That's
like,
dope.
yeah.
That's dope. Because I was wondering, I was like, why do they even like why here? I always wondered why there. Not that I had a really particular problem with it. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
It's cool because it looked cool. I was like,
Mhm.
it's cool. But then
And also it's in Norway, so
that's
it
cool.
makes sense. Like it makes
Exactly
more sense. So,
Nordic,
yeah. So yeah.
the Nords.
The final battle should have. I think the final battle was boring, but if it would have taken place in Svartalheim,
Fire.
more visually interesting.
I know, but like I said though, I like the fucking the jumping in between. I would have liked to see more of the realms. That would have been cool. Like
Yeah.
to seeing
Which,
you know, you
which
see
Heims?
you see Jotunheim.
We saw Jotunheim. So far, we've only seen Jotunheim, Muspelheim, Vanaheim, Svartalheim.
Right.
Midgard.
It would have. Who did he fight in
And Asgard.
Ragnarok? Who did he fight in the beginning of Ragnarok? Where realm was
That's
that?
Surtur. That's Muspelheim.
Yeah, that would have been cool to go there because that's like a cool
We've only
fiery
seen
area.
6 out of the 9 realms.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see some other ones, but I mean, like I get it. It's probably a lot of CGI. And
No,
you
we've
don't-
seen 7. Nidavellir.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow, yep.
7.
Holy shit.
Also, like you said, with the whole, like they have to explain all these realms to people because a lot of people don't know what these are.
Exactly, yeah.
So
yeah.
I understand why they didn't do that. I'm just saying,
But it gets
from my own
explained.
standpoint.
Thor, like that's the thing when
Like,
people say they don't
it would've got
understand. It gets
Dude,
explained. Thor
people
says
still
it.
have questions. Come on,
Yeah, I know.
some people are dumb. Like some people in high positions of power are dumb. So
But yeah, I feel like Jane Foster's character should have been a bit more integral to the story. They should have written her character as more of a, like, let's say for example, yes, the ether was inside of her and all that.
yeah, it would have been cool if she kind of used it. Like,
It would have been cool if she used her smarts. Like, all right,
yeah,
convergence is happening. Let me help you with that. She did help in the end. Fine, whatever. But it was on Earth, so I don't care.
yeah. Like she was just when she was fighting that dude, she was just standing there like this.
Yeah.
Like when Thor and Loki were trying to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
her
yeah.
to get them to extract it, and then they could destroy it.
Yeah.
She could have just clapped them if she was just like. I mean, it's probably very difficult to actually use it. I don't know, obviously, but like, if she learned how to do one little blast, that could have changed the entire
Yeah.
movie. But sorry, go ahead.
It's just things like that. It's just I hope that she gets redeemed in
I think she will. I
in
think this
Thor:
one's
Love
gonna
and
be.
Thunder. Yeah,
She's gonna have some fire moments in this next one. I have
So,
high hopes for it.
Yeah. The use of the ether was weakly structured and cheap.
Yep.
I'll get to that more into that later. Malekith, I said that he's pussy already. Frigga got some shine. I'm glad about that. Loki's MVP of the film. Like, yeah, I know that. I think that the moments that he has here clearly shows
That he deserves his
why-
own show.
like that he did like that he has literally rose out of almost just being a throwaway villain in the first Avengers. You know that he was
In the first
never-
Thor.
in the first Thor too, but you know he was
Yeah.
never intended to be in this.
But
after
everybody
the
loved his character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The writers are like, fine, let's write
Hasty.
Loki into this.
Yeah, because
So-
that's a selling point. Nobody honestly, this movie would not be good if Loki was not in this
Yeah,
movie.
if you cut
There
all
would
the
not
Loki
be enough
stuff-
good things for me to like
Nope.
this movie.
It would have been tough to.
I thought it was
stand on what
okay.
he had. Yeah.
If he wasn't in it, that shit would have been basura.
Yep. So yeah, Malekith for whatever reason, when Odin is explaining like how this is the official first introduction of an explanation of the Infinity Stones, sort of, in the MCU, because Odin says long ago, millennia ago, there are relics that came about, and one of those relics, Malekith got his hands on it and turned it into liquid for whatever reason.
Right.
Doesn't really explain. It's just he did it because he did. And that's all we get to see, really. We just know that their stones exist in the universe, and there's something sentient about them. Because as you can see, like what Thor says, like the ether is
Right.
protecting itself.
Mhm.
And maybe also part of the reason why the events of the ether sort of happen. Again, this gets retconned in Endgame, but it's almost like all of this happens just so the Reality Stone could get closer to the Mind Stone. Because clearly you
Yeah.
see at the end in the post-credit scene, which was directed by James Gunn, you see the Collector get the Reality Stone. And I'm like, all right. So now, like, again, watching it for the 5th time, I'm like, all right, this makes a lot of sense as to why these stones and all this bad shit keeps happening is because all these stones will eventually converge together, and a lot of shit is
Absolutely.
gonna, like, all that stuff is gonna happen. But the Warriors 3, again, their fight in Vanaheim was really cool to see everybody,
Mhm.
even though Shazam was in it. It was very, very weird seeing him there. I'm just like, that's not Fenrir from the first Thor.
Yeah.
But it was cool. What else do I have here? So, what you said about the love triangle with Lady Sif and Jane Foster and stuff, like they grilled, like she grilled her, like that
Yeah,
moment. I
it's like-
really love that shot. Like she was like walking by as this.
Yeah, and she was like, she ain't shit.
"This
I could
earth bitch,
Yeah, I could totally clap her, bro. Fuck
I'll
out of here.
wash her right now."
Yeah, where she's like, if I wasn't busy right now, if we weren't getting attacked, I would slice you up.
So Lady Sif and Thor in the mythology are married. They do marry and stuff. But in the comics, none of that happens. So in the MCU, they're kind of following suit. Like it's clearly a dub. But the moments, they do have moments where they hint at something. Even she tries to like hint that, like when they're all like celebrating after Vanaheim, she when it looks like all cool and dark and it's snowing and stuff, and she's telling him like, yo, she's basically telling him what's up. Like she's sliding into his DMs in person, and he's just like, "Nah, I'm good. I
Yeah,
still like this Earth-based mortal."
yeah.
So yeah, it kind of sucks that we didn't get more Lady Sif for whatever reason. She's an amazing stunt performer, and she does what she does. I mentioned them about Loki. Oh, another cool thing that not a lot of people catch.
Mhm.
It's more of an Easter egg. So one way to distinguish Odin and his, I guess, oversight on everything are his ravens. Like, you know how in God of War, like you have to collect the ravens and stuff because those are Odin's
Ravens, yeah. His eyes.
He has 2 ravens that are flying about in the film and all that every now and then in certain scenes. And even when he's sitting on the throne, his ravens are sitting on top of the throne and all that. In the last shot where Loki's talking, there are no ravens there. And
that was cool. That was cool to see. I saw the ravens in the beginning. I didn't notice
you
the
didn't
ravens.
think anything of it?
No. I noticed it because I got a war. I was like, oh, the Ravens. Okay, cool. But then at the end, I was like, when Loki was sitting on it, I already knew it was Loki, so I was just focusing on what he was saying. I was like, would I even be able to tell that this is Loki? And I was like, nah, I wouldn't be able to tell.
Actually, you would be able to tell because
besides the Ravens, but I didn't. I was
his
just
posture. And his
posture was very slouched.
Yeah. He was slouched, like how Loki in the comics actually sits and all that. So I'm like, okay. So Thor's ravens are there. His ravens show up in other MCU films. I just don't know which ones because there are shots of birds flying by in Avengers 1.
Yeah, probably looking up for Thor.
Yeah, and then there's another shot of a bird, I think, in the Dark World when on Earth, but I don't remember where. Yeah. In the end, in the post-credit scene, in the scene
right.
where you see 2 birds flying by Thor in the background. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool that they're keeping the mythos there. I mentioned that Odin always gets sick when he gets pressed.
Yeah.
And I really like that scene where again Thor goes to Odin and he's like, yo, like men are gonna die. Like, what's wrong with you thinking like this?
Yeah.
And again, we get that little glimpse of how Odin used to be. He used to be this warlord that was just like, fam, if people are gonna get clapped, people are gonna get clapped.
Yep. He's like, as many as possible, as many as there is.
He was like 10,000 Asgardian swords will fall or whatever, and Thor's just looking at him like, what's wrong? Like, I don't know you. Like,
he's like, you're sounding like me from the last movie, my guy.
And that's what Hela kind of reveals. She puts that on Front Street with that.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that, again, that consistency. Even though tonally the movies are different, there's still some consistency that I hope you guys can cut some slack on. Like, at least
I know, like, that's what I'm saying. It was like the consistency from the plot.
Yeah. And the
I like
character
it.
arcs.
And the
Because-
character arcs,
yeah.
like I mentioned before, I liked it. Like that's one of the benefits. But like, it wasn't. It was just missing a lot of things. It just
Yeah.
felt like, and a lot of shit was just lazily put together.
So some more trivia. Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, directed the prologue for this. Like when Odin is
The-
narrating and you
yeah,
see
yeah.
King Boar and all that
Oh,
stuff, and
did
you
he?
see how they hide the ether and all that. Yeah, he directed for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but Tim Miller did
Interesting.
that. I spoke about Joss Whedon, Infinity Stones. What is it about the MCU or Disney in general with their funeral scenes that are just beautiful and just like
Oh yeah, that was dope. I like the music they were playing too. That was cool.
yes, Brian Tyler, who was the composer
Very,
for this.
it's like damn, like you kind of felt it a little bit. Like
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
like
I deadass felt mass. I always felt sad like for that scene because, and it even feels even more sad with what we know in Endgame, with the scene we get
Right.
in Endgame. It's super heartbreaking about that. And then also on top of that, like how we get two significant deaths in a pretty early cinematic universe. Like we have Thor's mom
Yeah.
die. Okay, that's something you expect to happen in like a third movie or something. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Loki dies for the second time, quote unquote. And also some cool detail that they did is that notice how when Loki dies, like officially in Infinity War, his true form comes out. His eyes turn red, his skin turns blue. In the Dark World, his skin just turns gray, and it's just like, come on, bro. Like, come on.
That's how you know she's not really dead.
Yeah. So, what else I got here for you? So, what the hell? So, all right. The ending of the film ends with Loki going, yo, like, kind of telling Thor in a sense, go back to Earth. Like,
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, fine. Go back to Earth. It's cool. And notice how Thor even says, "Here, take me on there." And he's like, "Nah, you good."
Yeah, because if he grabbed it, he would have been like bang. He just fell down to the ground.
So he's like, "Go ahead, back to Earth." That was a reshoot. That was not the original ending. The original ending was Thor waking up the next day in Natalie Portman's apartment to Odin sitting there in front of him. Because Odin has been officially cast to Earth at this point by Loki. So Odin is just like, but Thor doesn't know that yet. I'm assuming because the way it was explained in the video that I watched, they didn't really elaborate on that. And this deleted scene is only available in the Infinity Saga box set.
Mhm.
Like it's not like in the extras
Yeah.
here. But that would have been way doper because of what happens after him and Odin speak. Because that's when Thor really tells Odin, yo, like, I don't want to be king. Like, he says it in his bed. And it's like this really dope father-son moment that we missed out on. Like, it
Yeah.
was genuine. And then after that, Jane breaks up with him.
After that scene?
After that scene, the movie ends with Jane breaking up with him and him just like, I guess, like, I don't know.
That
like,
would have been weird.
But but the thing
Why?
is that because in Ragnarok, it said that they broke up.
Yeah, no, but why would she break up with him right there? Is my point.
Well, the thing is that she saw what being involved with him comes with. And she was like, "Oh, like I'm doing some work with Shield and all that. I think it's something with Shield." And she's like, "I can't let that like impede my work." It's like it was something weak about like it's like, "Oh, it's
just
me, it's not you."
Yeah, I know. It's just funny because it's like, oh yeah, like I spent all these years looking for you, even though after the first movie, I'm like she's still hung up on him, and then at the end, it's like,
But
like when they're sitting at the table, when they're all sitting at that table at the end.
Yeah. Like, oh,
like,
he'll come back.
Oh yeah, he'll come back, and she's like, and she's like, yeah, like right now, like
he's only been gone for 2 years.
Last time she was gone for 2 years. Now it's only been 2 days. Like,
yeah.
It's like, so she's definitely looking forward to him coming back to Earth. Like, that's my point.
I don't know. The writers, I guess, are having some trouble in terms of writing the love part into it, like how to.
Yeah, they fucked up on that shit.
And I think Taika's gonna save the day. That's all I gotta say. But
We'll see.
Other than that, I think that the film is not as solid as as it seems like I'm trying to defend it. No, it's not as bad as I thought that everybody is and all that.
Mhm.
It's a 7 out of 10 for me solely because of the things that happen in Endgame that really tie up what happens in this film up. Like, what if the reason that Thor didn't get to Malekith on time is because he couldn't find his fucking hammer? Imagine he was looking for his hammer. Because literally all those things happen after Frigga speaks to Thor. The events of the Dark World happen. So
Yep.
imagine it's like that. That would be really, really cool if that was like a thing and all that. But yeah, I just think that like how they cleaned that up in Endgame was dope, just for the payoff, and I think that's what matters.
Absolutely.
Like the payoff of the character arcs, and that's really it. I mean, there's nothing I wouldn't change in the movie because there's a lot I would change, but it's definitely not the MCU's worst, but it's in
Nowhere
that
near
batch.
their best.
It's in that batch of like I could have done better, which
Absolutely.
includes the likes of the Incredible Hulk and
Wait, so then what are you
What
gonna
did
rate the movie?
oh, it's a 7 out of 10 still. Like
No, I
it's
mean
gonna
like
it's not as bad as I thought. Still,
okay.
I still don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. It's really not. It's a
Yeah,
it's a super
I think it's
weak movie, but
I think it's a
not.
little better than what people. I think people give it a little too much flack. I
Yeah.
think you can give it a little bit more.
But you know why it gets shitted on? Because of what the MCU sort of started with. You start off with a bang like Iron Man, and then you get Thor, which was mixed. And then you get
Mhm.
Captain America, the first Avenger, which was mixed for its reasons.
Right.
And then you come back with Avengers, and we're like, yeah. And then you come back with Thor: The Dark World, and we're just like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
hey, this looks great, but we like,
Change it.
change it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, is Thor still your man's?
Yeah, he's still my man's.
Thor is still my man's too. And this actually makes me want to rewatch Ragnarok.
Yeah. I kind of want to
Because like I'm like, all right.
Well, we
like,
obviously won't talk about it on this, but yeah, I kind of want to rewatch it.
But did any news break? Because I feel like we're done with Thor. What
News?
broke? What broke?
The news about the Snyder Cut.
Ooh.
Because now a screening happened apparently recently where Zack Snyder showed it to AT&T officials and also Warner Brothers executives, and the Warner Brothers executives didn't like it, but of course because they're tight and they're mad about the whole entire movement, basically saying you guys fucked up. And then, but the AT&T, the execs or whoever watched it from AT&T, they loved it.
Yeah.
And they recognized the movement, and they recognized how much good press they would get if they actually just said, Warner Brothers, you guys are just gonna have to fucking suck it up and don't fuck up. Like that's basically what that's basically what it is. If this whole thing is true, where they showed it to them and they loved it, so apparently it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen now. It's just a matter of time. And HBO Max needs something. It needs something to be like, okay, guys, here it is, first day. Go ahead, go check it out.
And that's next week.
I know. I think it would be probably it would be a bigger launch than Disney Plus, I think, if they actually did that.
Really?
Or just as big. Like Disney Plus, when that shit dropped, that shit, like, people were all over that shit. Like, remember all the memes about it, like, oh, Disney Plus, you're gonna watch.
And it crashed too. It had a pretty
rough
start.
Yeah. Well, crashed because now it's perfect. Honestly, Disney Plus is great. I love it.
It's one of those. It's strange that as a streaming service, you have some kind of output like that. Like, I get it. It's Disney. They got money,
right?
But HBO Max has a lot in its library, and it's gonna have to handle that kind of bandwidth. So
I hope Friends. It's gonna have so much stuff.
I think they're having over like 20,000 films in their catalog because it's all Warner Brothers stuff. So shit,
dude, it's gonna be crazy. Like, and so if they do that and they just say, you know what, guys, as an added treat, Here's the Snyder cut of Justice
And
League.
DC Universe. I hope, because Doom Patrol season 2 is
Doom's gonna be on that, I think. Yeah, Doom Patrol's gonna be on
that's
HBO
so,
Max.
like, might as well bring everything else over. I don't
That's
see
what I
why
think.
that's not a thing.
That's what I
but
think too. But
Come
I
on,
mean,
bro.
I think they have something going on with the CW, like some kind of agreement to give them shows.
Yeah,
or
because they picked up Swamp Thing as well. That
Yeah.
also broke last week.
on CW, and it's just like, why would you bring it there?
You're definitely gonna get a scene in Swamp Thing where an Ed Sheeran song is playing, like rain is falling down, and it's just like.
God. But I think that was like the big news that kind of dropped. Like, I think it would be great. And we obviously already said this too about HBO Max. Like, if they dropped it on the first day, people would go fucking nuts. Like,
it would break the
it
internet.
would, it would break it, because even people who didn't support the fucking movie or the movement,
Yeah.
they would definitely still watch that shit, because
we
they would
still-
watch it because, and even if they hate on it, that's still a watch. That's still a stream. And
Another stream, bro.
and like, if you watch it and like, you're gonna be like, there's just no way that his cut is worse than the theatrical cut we got. There is
I don't-
absolutely no way.
I don't think it will be. I think I just hope it's good. I hope it is.
So do I.
everything.
So do I. Everything we've hoped it would be.
I
Like,
really hope it is.
and if it is, like, that's awesome. And like, if they, I don't know, maybe they can try to, like, it would end up being with recasts, and probably because for Batman and whatever. But if they make the Flash movie a sequel to the Zack Snyder thing,
make it canon and just go.
yeah, just say, all right, this is the Flash movie. Yeah, but basically just make it.
Sort of like how
Justice
they did
League
with,
Part
with,
2.
with Justice League Dark and stuff.
That would be a good idea, right?
That.
Like, if
Spoken
you
like a
say-
true DC exec.
like, if they make it so, like, okay, yeah, you can make the Flash movie the sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League, so then that way they can have the Flashpoint, because it's already going to be about Flashpoint.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing Flashpoint. So if you just do that, you don't have to show any of the characters that you just recast. It's
Easiest.
perfect.
It's
You can have
easy.
Cyborg there, and then, like, and you can have, like, I mean, you might have to show Batman, but I mean, if you could just get Ben just to come back for like one little 10-minute thing,
Yeah.
it would be perfect. But I don't think that's going to happen. But like, if like, you can just show the Batman, I guess, whoever they recast as Batman,
hmm
whoever they show as Batman, just have it. Okay, yeah, that's like the one recast, and then, if Ezra Miller does keep his job, which apparently he is,
Seems like it. You could
Seems
choke
like it.
slam. You could rock bottom people and still keep
yeah,
your job.
so your
That's
job.
lit.
So then that's the only recast you really need to worry about.
Like we said during the Birds of Prey podcast, go check that out if you haven't heard it yet.
Yes.
The Flash film is literally an alley-oop for DC. It's literally the easiest.
So you can release the Snyder Cut and just say that's canon. Justice League is not.
Exactly.
Like the original theatrical Justice League is not canon. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Like, there wasn't any progress made in that isn't going to be done in Justice League, and Zack Snyder's cut.
Exactly, and on top of that, even the little webs of connectivity between, like, even Aquaman and the Justice League is like, really wasn't that crazy.
But again, you can form that's going to be formed in that. Like, everything that's done in Justice League is literally like Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's just going to be a better version of that.
Yeah.
So just nix that other shit and keep Zack Snyder's vision. That saves you so much time and effort. Like, you have all these characters already built out. Superman's like, it's perfect. It's the best situation for them. That's their best bet right now.
And it's crazy is that how do you not mistakenly, but knowingly completely eradicate a timeline and a universe, like, just go, all right, this is done with, but still manage to put yourself in a position to fix it? That does not happen often, especially
Flash is the ultimate cheat code.
Yeah,
for studios and
exactly.
superheroes.
I wish a lot of I'm sure a lot of film studios and productions wish that they had a flashpoint for their franchises. So
Bruh.
it's up to them to really
Hopefully.
make or break us as
Mhm.
a fan base. Wow, that's mad toxic. Because I don't care. If this shit is trash, it's trash. That's it. If it's what we hope for,
Right.
that's great too. At the end of the
Mhm.
day, it happened. That's what we should appreciate. But
Absolutely.
you got anything else, my guy? Because
Oh, that's it.
I am just hyped for this Jordan doc. I hope
Oh
y'all
my
been checking
god, I'm
that
so
out.
ready. Episodes
And-
9 and 10. Should we do a podcast about this?
You know what? What are you doing tonight, bro? We'll see. But
see.
but yeah, guys, that's all we got for today. Shout out to our essential workers. Wash your hands.
Yes.
And yeah, if you still think that Thor: The Dark World is just as bad as you thought and trash and all that, you might be right.
But
on
hug your
this
mom anyway.
podcast.
Just to be
Yep.
safe. Just to be safe, hug your mom.
Hug your mom. Put a hat on.
Put a mask on, put gloves on, and then hug her.
Yeah. Say yeah.
Say yeah.